In every ancient culture, long before television, long before scientific journals, long before the first printed myth, there were stories. Stories whispered around fires, scratched into stone, passed from dying lips to newborn ears. Stories about creatures that should not exist. Creatures that walked on four limbs but could leap onto two. Creatures with jaws that unhinged, eyes that glowed, and voices that imitated human screams. Creatures that resembled dogs, but were not dogs. Tonight, we explore the terrifying possibility that these beings were not fictional monsters, but real encounters with something ancient, predatory, and unknown. Across mythology, anthropology, cryptozoology, and even modern sightings, there is a repeating shape, a blueprint, of a creature disturbingly similar to what fans of Stranger Things might call a demo dog. But these stories long predate any series. Some are thousands of years older than recorded history. Were ancient people simply telling the same fictional stories coincidentally? Or were they trying to warn us? This is Creatures That Shouldn't Exist, the real-life demo dogs of ancient mythology. What makes these ancient entities so unnerving is that they share 6 universal traits, appearing again and again across civilizations that had zero contact with each other. Dog-like or hyena-like posture, humanoid intelligence, predatory hunting behavior, ability to walk upright, association with darkness, portals, or the afterlife, fear from all who encountered them. This isn't like dragons, which vary massively from culture to culture, or vampires, which are mostly regional. No, these things are consistent, almost biologically so, and many cultures believe they were literal. Let us start with one of the earliest civilizations ever recorded. Long before the pyramids, before Rome, even before Greece, ancient Sumerians told stories of a creature known as the Uridimu, a mad dog from the underworld. This wasn't a metaphor or poetic description. It was described in detail, revered, feared, and even carved into stone. The creature was said to be a monstrous dog-like humanoid, walking upright like a man, with jaws strong enough to crack bone, and intelligence equal to or surpassing humans. One tablet describes it as the dog that walks like the god of death. Another calls it the watcher at the threshold, believed to guard liminal spaces, doorways, caves, deep forest paths, anywhere the veil was thin. The Sumerians associated it with Nergal, ruler of the dead. Thus, to them, seeing this creature meant you were too close to the boundary between worlds. Some myths even claim it could drag humans into the underworld, alive. The terrifying encounter of the reed marshes. One of the oldest preserved fragments tells of a fisherman in the reed marshes along the Euphrates. According to the carving, the reeds shook without wind. The water stilled though fish leapt. Then came the breath, hot like the desert wind, upon my back. When he turned, he saw a creature crouched in the reeds. Tall as a man, body like a starved wolf, and a long tongue tasting the air. He described its eyes as reflecting fire without flame. The creature stood, balanced, on 2 legs, and then it spoke, not in words, but in a perfect imitation of the fisherman's wife calling his name. He ran. He never returned to the water again. Stories like this appear again and again across Mesopotamian history. And what's chilling is how much they resemble future cultures' descriptions. This is only the beginning. The Egyptians cataloged thousands of species: cats, jackals, crocodiles, ibises. But there was one creature they included in their sacred art that does not match any known animal on earth. They called it the Shah, or the Set animal, associated with the god Set. Its features: a long, narrow dog-like body, upright posture, pointed rectangular ears, a forked tail, a snout that bent unnaturally upward. Modern zoologists have no explanation for this creature. It isn't a jackal. It isn't a wolf. It isn't a dog. And it appears nowhere in the animal kingdom. The Egyptians didn't treat it as symbolic. They treated it as real. In some inscriptions, it is shown devouring the dead or dragging them into the desert. In others, it is a guardian of forbidden places. What's deeply strange is that the Egyptians believed this animal was a flesh and blood predator that lived near the borders of civilization and only came near human settlements in times of chaos. Just like the demo dogs in Stranger Things, the Shah was a harbinger of dimensional imbalance, a creature appearing when worlds collided. In Norse culture, wolves were sacred, symbols of both chaos and primal strength. But among all wolf legends, one group stands out: the Ulfhednar. They are often described as human warriors who donned wolf skins. But that is a modern misunderstanding. The older sagas describe them differently, as beings who looked mostly like wolves, but walked on two legs during battle. One saga describes a creature with wolf's face and man's stance, yet no man within its eyes. While later Norse culture humanized the Ulfhednar, the early stories portray them as half-men, half-beasts, capable of incredible strength and ferocity. The belief was that they were possessed or taken over by spirits from another realm, possibly from Jotunheim, the land of giants and monstrous beings in Norse cosmology. In every depiction, their behavior mirrors pack hunting, territorial aggression, animalistic communication, enhanced senses, savage, non-human intelligence. Their hybrid anatomy, particularly their ability to run on all fours and then stand upright, once again mirrors a demodog-like form. And these beings were not rare. They were feared, respected, and sometimes worshipped.